The other thing that I'm doing in between sessions is that I'm reviewing my predictions, because this is the holiday season, but it's also predictions season. This is when all the media that we work with are reaching out to us. They're trying to build their articles on their really provocative, thought-provoking views of what's going to happen in the future. And so my 5 to 7 minutes with you is an opportunity for me to preview and test and get some feedback on my predictions that we're going to feed to the media this year, of course, all around AI. And I got to tell you, this first one probably is going to feel a little self-serving to you. And that is that CTO will be the hottest job in the industry. So why do I say that? Why do I say that? First, it's becoming really obvious to me that for firms to separate themselves, to create competitive differentiation, to provide the new types of services that they want to provide to their clients, they've got to become technology forward. And the classic job of a CTO is to create competitive differentiation through technology. Right? That is the job of the CTO. So it's not just that you will need CTOs to, as I talk about this, it sounds really self-serving. I don't really mean it to be that way. But it's true. It's not just that you'll need technology leaders to build the technology to help your firms to be more successful. Your clients also need that technology consulting to create the differentiation they need to be more competitive. And one of the trends that I'm seeing in the market that I think is really compelling to me and is a hopeful sign for the future is this consolidation of VARs and CAS practices. The fact that a lot of you have been acquiring VARs and bringing that capability into your firm, I think is going to set you up to really provide those types of services to your clients, which is a pretty good segue to the next big prediction, and that is that digital transformation is non-negotiable. We have this problem in the technology industry of getting onto these topics and forgetting the topic that was the really big topic before that. We suddenly stopped talking about digital transformation 2 or 3 years ago. But the dirty little secret is that there is no AI without digital transformation. If you're going to bring AI into your firms, if you're going to bring AI into the businesses of your clients, you are going to have to enable them to digitally transform. The data's got to become accessible, systems have to be connected, there needs to be digital tools for AI to interact with. AI doesn't work in an environment that isn't already digitally transformed. And I'll tell you the other thing that probably no CTO is saying right now. There's a lot of really compelling cases out there where simply digitizing a workflow is better than using AI. And I'll give you a really good example of that. Processing a vendor invoice. So in France and Spain and many parts of Europe, they've passed laws around e-invoicing. And the whole idea of e-invoicing is that businesses are now required by law to exchange invoices digitally. And they have to be coded according to a standard. And in this world where business happens digitally, there's no need for AI. I don't need a great model that can process a document if the document's digital end to end. So your CTOs, again, really important for this one as well. So the problem with all of this automation is that it creates anxiety. It creates, I think, a greater interest in the assurance and the reliability of what's happening in business. And so my next big prediction is that assurance within your business is set to really explode. I don't think many people are talking about this right now. But my simple belief is that the more we automate, the more we want to trust the systems that are doing the automation. And as we were sort of getting ready to come up on stage today, we were all talking about how exciting this time is, and we can't wait to see how things shake out. One of my favorite quotes is by a computer scientist, Alan Kay, who says, "The best way to predict the future is to build it." And I think as an accounting industry, we have an obligation in this room to sort of take the lead and decide that we're going to be the ones to create confidence in the AI that we deploy in business, right? We are uniquely qualified to be the people that do that. And so assurance will be more valued by your clients, but also you will be able to drive more value in assurance, right? You'll be able to assure a greater scope of work that's happening. You'll be able to do it continuously, not just at a point in time. So I think assurance is going to explode. The next one is your business model is outdated, but don't worry, so is mine. The reality is that with every major change in technology, there is a corresponding massive disruption in business models. And what I would argue is that the leaders that emerge through these changes are the ones who are able to capitalize on these new business models. If you go to software as a service, right? Yes, anytime, anywhere software, but the whole business model around selling software as a service was the real disruption. Public cloud, yes, virtualization enabled all kinds of innovation, but being able to pay incrementally for services as you go enabled a whole industry of startups. And we don't know yet what the model is going to be for AI agents. We just know that it's going to be a different model. And so the advice now is you've got to be agile. You've got to be willing to experiment. We've got a big job on our hands at Sage. We've got a $3 billion business that's built around software as a service as a business model, and we know that fundamentally we need to change it. We just don't know exactly how it's going to change yet. And then the last is, and this is my send you home prediction, I guess, your predictions about how you're going to grow your CAS practices are too modest. I think as an industry, you're modest. I read the CAS State of the Industry report for 2024, and one of the big takeaways from that report was that you all were already too modest about how you were going to grow your CAS practices from 22 to 24. I will tell you that you are still being too modest. And I think what perhaps you're not thinking about is two things, right? The first is that we believe more mid-sized businesses are going to make the decision to outsource their accounting to pros like you, right? They are under intense pressure to not only drive cost optimization, but to also create competitive advantage through their finance organization. And they're going to want to get that help from you. The second big reason why I think your predictions are too modest is that you are going to develop new and more valuable products to deliver to your clients that are going to be powered by AI. And every time we go through a big change in technology, the total addressable market, the market opportunity grows exponentially, right? So the kind of linear growth that you're predicting right now is going to get disrupted by AI that creates a massive new opportunity. So that's what I'll leave you with, that you were all too modest, you're too shy, you're too humble, but also you've got an obligation to create the future. Thank you.